We're going to look at some of Shawn Lane's Not Again off the Powers of 10 album. It's in the key of D major. It's got a drop D tuning. It's made up of a lot of chord inversions, very wide interval leaps. Give it a kind of airy sound, somewhat reminiscent of EJ. And starts off here on the D, open D string, or E string, but D note. The first chord is a D5 add 9. It's inverted so that the 5th is on top and the 9th's in the middle. B, and there's a B5. But you've taken the 5th and the octave and you moved them up an octave, so that there's a whole unused octave in between. Same picking pattern. Then what you've got is a D major 7 arpeggio. Played here, where an A major would be. Same notes, but it's kind of a tongue twister for your fingers. You're doing a lot of string skipping. So you'll start here at the 9th fret of the G, go up a major 6th interval. So this note here, the 9th fret of the high E, is actually the 7th. But what Shawn typically does here is bend this up a half step. So that's a D. That slow sounds like this. So you can see basically, for the most part, all I'm doing is skipping a string, then going back down, skipping a string each time, and then hitting that string in the middle that I skipped over. Then back to the B, B5 again. And you're sliding down to a D slash D major 7 with a G in the bass, which is the 4th of the chord. Kind of going in and out between the major and the major 7. That's slow. Then you've got two patterns which you walk down and then walk back up in. Each of them slightly different from the other. There's a lot of chromatic notes in here, which give it a pretty expressive feel. To best articulate these patterns, you'll want to only leave your finger on the string as long as it takes to play and articulate the note. Then you'll want to remove it, or at least pull it off slightly so that the string is muted. It'll keep the notes from all bleeding together. That would sound really bad. As you can hear, there's a slight vibrato on each one of these notes, other than the pedal point note. In comparison, you can hear if I let the notes just ring together. Doesn't sound quite as good, in my opinion. Then you go back over everything that we just went through, play that one more time, and then you'll get to this part, which is just basically D major chords. This note right here, 4th fret of the low E string, is thrown in there. And then the next pattern, which is played under kind of like a lead melody on the studio album, sounds like this. So after this, slide up here to the 9th fret, fret of the low E, 7th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G, and it's kind of again a walk up, walk down pattern. Walk up, walk down pattern. So 9th fret. You'll want to bar this on the 7th fret here, this index finger, the D and G strings. Bar that so that you can play. And then what Shawn's doing is he's going back down here to the 7th fret. Same pattern, same shape with your fingers. Sliding down again, this shape's a little bit harder. Requires some stretching, but it's 5th fret, 5th fret of the low E string, 2nd fret of the D, 6th fret of the G. Again, you probably will want to lift your fingers off after you're done playing the notes. Keep them from sounding like this. Kind of got the low E string palm muted a bit there for that part. And that's basically that. You'll go through some of that stuff again before you come to what I like to think of as the chorus section. I'm not entirely sure what fingering Shawn uses to execute this. I think it's probably a combination of the two patterns that I'm about to show you. Both of them start on the 14th fret of the D string. They kind of outline a D major arpeggio there. Depending on whether you're better at one note per string arpeggios or you're better at trying to do two notes on one string, keeping in mind that you'll have to pick a fourth interval here. So if you're not good at rolling or using two fingers to execute a fourth interval cleanly, either of those things will determine which fingering you use. So the first one, being the one note per string idea, goes slow like this. The second pattern, obviously the same exact notes, but instead of playing the D major arpeggio like this, you'll play it like this. Now you could use your ring finger and kind of roll. I kind of like to use two fingers to play each one of those notes. Ring finger, pinky. Again, so the same thing. Each time you play this note, though, you'll just play this note. And that's it. So whichever one of those works best for you, I suggest you use.